Great. Thank you so much, Khalid. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the March 2nd, 2023 meeting of CB11's Environment, Open Space and Parks Committee. My name is Jessica Elliott, and I'm the chair of the committee. This meeting is called to order at 6:33 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by Khalid Nixon, our staff liaison to our committee. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. One, if you could mute yourself when you're not speaking, that would be excellent. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. If you click the participants icon, the participants panel should appear and you should find the raise hand function there. If you still have technical difficulty, you may click the chat icon and relay your difficulty to the staff. The chat function should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. When a member is given the floor to speak, I will identify you and you can unmute yourself so that you can speak. Please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand through Zoom and wait to be recognized. One other element is that I ask that all of our board members, please turn your cameras on when you're speaking. That's something we discussed at executive and would like, while we are speaking, for people to see us and know who we are. We will now take attendance by a roll call. Board members, you can unmute yourselves and answer present when your name is called.
One second, members. Okay. Okay, so just keep in mind that there are 12 members on the committee and we need 7 in order to make quorum. Diane.
Hold on real quick. Jessica, is that for roll as well?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we would have our cameras on for the whole meeting, and I know that's not always possible, but at least when we're speaking, if we could have our cameras on. So if you're making a comment, roll call, maybe not as important, but would generally prefer yes. Go ahead, Khalid.
Okay. Diane Collier.
Here.
Jessica Elliott.
Present.
David Giordano. David? I know I saw him log in. David,
you're on mute.
David, you're muted if you're trying to say anything.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing, I'm sorry. But I'm driving, okay. So it's a little tricky.
Understood, got it. All right, David, thank you. Alonzo Johnson. Jewel Jones.
Present.
Thank you. Connie Lee.
Present.
Thank you. Malik McCullough.
Present.
Thank you. Debbie Quinones.
You're on mute, Debbie.
Present.
Thank you. Asher Rodriguez is excused. Russell Schuler.
Present.
Thank you. Michelle Wiltshire Clement.
Present.
Thank you. Jordan Wright. Okay, absent. You have quorum, Chair.
Thank you, Khalid. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and was posted online. If there is no objection, we'll adopt the agenda as stated. Committee members, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand through Zoom. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. The minutes from our last meeting were distributed to committee members ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objection, we'll adopt the minutes from that meeting. Committee members, if you object to adopting the minutes, you may raise your hand through Zoom. And I just wanted to note, Khalid, I understand Asher's name was listed as their previous name. And I know that was already completed by the time we were aware of that change, but
okay, so I'll go back and make those edits and repost it on our website as well, because I know I had noted that at least moving forward for the minutes, but yeah. I didn't check for so I'll go back and make sure that's corrected.
Thank you so much, and thank you to Michelle for making that comment. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the last meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB11 website. The minutes of tonight's meeting are being taken by myself. So we'll move on to our first item on the agenda. we have an announcement here. The Youth and Education Committee is inviting our committee, the Environment, Open Space and Park Committee members to attend their March 14th, 2023 committee meeting to discuss a letter from the Student Council at the River East Elementary School. And this is about their park and playground elements. So I think, sometimes we have some elements coming to our committee and some going to Youth and Education. So if you can attend to be present for that conversation, that would be great. I do have one more announcement in regards to another meeting that we were invited to, which is the Public Safety and Transportation Committee has invited us to their committee meeting on March 19th, as they will be discussing the 5G Link NYC implementation. And that was
March
something
9th.
March
9th.
9th. Thank you. March 9th. Thank you, Khalid. We had originally back in 2019 and 2020 talked about 5G in this committee. So if you would like to be present for those conversations moving forward, they will be taking place at the Public Safety and Transportation. Any questions on that? Any other announcements from the committee? Okay, we'll move along. We'll go through our regular scenario here with our informational updates. We'll start with city agencies, and then we'll move through the list. So I understand DSNY is not going to be in attendance tonight. Are there any other city agencies that are here that would like to give the committee an update? Please raise your hand. Jana. Hey, how are you, Jana?
Hi, Jessica. I accidentally raised my hand. I was like, wait, she means figuratively. Okay. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. Thanks as always, because you guys are so thorough in everything you do as a committee. For Marcus Garvey Park, I just want to let you guys know that we are planning. Dave is on vacation actually, so he cannot be with us tonight, but we are planning for the volunteer sort of rollout this spring. We're really excited because a number of people are bringing volunteers our way. We're very grateful for that. We also are excited because the Harlem Port headquarters, which is going to be a beautiful new, we hope, game changer for the uptown community, is in process right now. We do have the support, again, quite grateful for the New York Junior League making us their park project of the year. So we're starting to work with them to plan our April and May activities so that we can have a ribbon cutting the first weekend of June. I'm going to invite you guys as a committee to come in April to come see the site as we're starting to get it underway before it opens June, the first weekend of June. And this again will be a brand new horticultural education and plant center, as well as a programming and event space. We're also hopeful to have some open hours through the week that people can just come and meditate, zen out in a beautiful space with plants in the open sky. This will also just be fantastic for us as staff at Marcus Garvey Park, because this east end of the pool has been closed for over a decade. So not only for the community, but also for us, really utilizing this space in a brand new, exciting way. Harlem Grown Initiative, we're underway working with their team and our community around that initiative, and Connie and Sandra Heath and others around the public art component. So that's been very invigorating. And we're really looking at June as sort of a formal launch of that. Harlem Little League, waiting to connect with them officially, but we do have the final agreement for their usage of the new Little League building, and we're excited to roll out the concession space and the community room related to their kickoff in April of their season. And just a note there again, once I have the schedule of their usage, I'll reach out to you, Jessica, and the committee to see if CB11 Parks Committee might want to use the community room at some point for any scoping or conversations, event of your choosing. Finally, just a note of thanks, because we've had a number of people put in 311 compliments to the city for our team at Marcus Garvey Park. We have some new staff who have really been making a tremendous difference, and our park is clean And we're really thankful to people who take time out to give compliments, not just complaints. So that is us at Marcus Garvey. Happy to answer any questions I can. Again, Dave's not here, so I told Dave that I would take back any questions you guys may have for his parks.
Great. Thank you so much, Jana. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. And Jana, I just wanted to apologize to you for my slow responses to your emails, and to everyone.
Hey, no
I'm
worries.
generally behind, so I promise I will get to your
Same.
emails. So sorry. Michelle?
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I'm still in the car, so I don't know. Am I visible?
Yes.
Let's see. Yes, I do see you, Michelle. Hi.
And you can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes. Well done. I hope you're not
Okay.
doing all this while driving.
I'm not the one driving.
All right,
Good.
Michelle, what's your question?
I'm just curious. I know that a lot of the times the park's hours have been changing back and forth. What will the hours be this summer? And
Yeah.
will they be the same throughout the summer, or will they increase?
Well, good question. Generally, we're 6 a.m. to 10. We've sort of been that during COVID. But that is an open question for us. It's really kind of related to staffing. And as you guys may have read in the news and know from your work, staffing is at an all-time low due to funding, due to attrition, due to people taking other jobs. So that's a challenge for us. I will say that our Parks Enforcement Patrol, those hours will change when the pool opens, which is July 4th weekend. So they go from, once the pool's open, they will be open 11 a.m. to 7 to coincide with the pool being open till 7. So in terms of the park itself, Michelle, that's an open question right now. But thank you. I can report back on that as we know about staffing and funding.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Jenna. Any other questions for parks?
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Debbie.
It's not a question, it's more of a statement along the same lines of opening and closing. We struggle with that at Art Park, especially now that we have a new art installation. People are coming up to see it. And there's been instances where the park is not open on a regular basis, and it's hard to coordinate these types of visits when the park is supposed to be open and it's not. The other thing was that, along the same lines, it was closed on the, what was supposed to be the anniversary celebration of the installation of the sculpture growth. So, we just need to know that this park is opening on the right time and closing, because what tends to happen is that you open late and then you close early, and that impacts program and access to the park, with people wanting to see the installation and just spend time in general in the park. So I'm
Debbie.
hoping that we can get longer hours and open earlier.
Hi, Debbie. So this is a park that Dave oversees. I'm not involved with it, but just so I have clarity, so with Marcus Garvey, we're always open 6 a.m. to 10. But if I am understanding you correctly, you're saying that the official
Art Park.
open, right? Yes, I understand. But if I understand you correctly, you're saying the official open and closing hours of Harlem Art Park are actually not being abided by, that it's closing early or opening late?
Both.
Okay, so I'll make that a note with Dave. Again, that quite likely could be because of staffing issues, but I'll ask him.
Thank you, Debbie. And just to note for you, Jenna, we've been on these meetings, and I think this is probably the third or fourth time I've heard Debbie bring up this comment. So
Yep.
I just want to make sure that, that Harlem Art Park gets the attention that it deserves.
Yeah, I'll ask Dave to respond to you directly, but again, this is likely because of reduced staffing. But I don't know if I have your email, but I can get it from Jessica.
Great. Thank you so much, Jenna. Thank you, Debbie. All right, I will move on. Thank you, Jenna, for being here and for your updates.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. And I will respond to your emails.
Thank you.
Are there any other city agencies here who would like to give an update? Okay, and Jana, if you could just lower your hand, that would be helpful. Thank you. Any other, I will move on to parks advocacy groups. Are there any park advocacy groups, if I could say it, here to give an update? Peter? You're on mute, Peter. Sorry about that.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I guess I should make a formal introduction. I'm always kind of sitting on the back, but it's Pete Hunter. I'm the Chief Director of Operations for Randall's Island, and tonight I'm here to speak in Dave Salerno's place. He had some other business to attend to tonight. So I'll start off with construction projects. So we have RK93 and RK19, which will bring new pedestrian and vehicular ramps onto the island. It's a large project that TBTA is starting to work on. So when you come onto the island now, you'll probably notice a lot of tree guards around the north side of the island and also some cones and some stakes. I will say there's actually still plenty of access around these areas of the park. The project is moving pretty quickly. So we're looking at actual pier work to start probably in late April, early May. And that's going to be in the ferry dock location and Bronx Shore. The spring season's coming up just coming up pretty quickly. Ball fields open on March 17th. Soccer fields open on April 1st. The stadium is also getting ready for actually a very busy season. Practices start on March 14th, and the first track and field event is on March 25th. With all the activities of a new season starting up in a few weeks, more than half of our seasonal staff is going to be starting on March 6th, with the remainder returning on March 13th. There are still a couple of positions available. So if you go onto our website, you'll be able to see what's there. Right now, I'm kind of highlighting the natural areas working apprenticeship position. There's 2 for college level students and 2 for high school level students. And also with the grounds department, there's an irrigation tech position. So, if anybody in your family or friends group is skilled or interested in these things, just go ahead and take a look at our website and please apply. For education and public programming, we're thrilled to continue offering free education programs at Randall's Island to the students of East Harlem. In our programs, students can immerse themselves in the island's living classrooms, which all align with New York City learning standards. Get to work as student ecologists and observe, support the many functions of our local waterways by exploring diverse ecosystems and plants and wildlife found within their neighborhood. Within our waterfront stewardship program. We are also, promoting understanding farming impacts in green food systems in our urban farm edible education program. Learning the benefits of compost, learning the care of produce, and you get to taste a lot of the food that's actually grown in the farm. A lot of these classes can all be registered for on our website. We're also excited to announce that at the end of the month, we'll be hosting a free soccer recess program that's going to be organized by the New York City Football Club and community in the city. We're happy to announce our volunteer programs are starting up in March. We have large weekend and smaller weekday programs throughout the season. Team River volunteers begin weekly on March 22nd. It is also offered on March 29th from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Urban Farm volunteers begin Sunday, April 2nd, with public volunteering being offered most Sundays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll be also hosting a community cleanup on Saturday, April 8th. Registration can be found on our website. Let's see, we have a winter bird tour this Saturday, March 4th, 10 a.m., which will meet at Icon Stadium and walk around the north end of the island. I may pronounce this name wrong and I apologize, but I think it's Efua Peterson will be leading that walk. Camp information meeting for CBOs interested in the free Randall's Island summer camp will be on Thursday, March 9th at 3:30 p.m. This will be a virtual Zoom meeting. Let's Go Birding, LGBT with NYC Audubon will be Saturday, March 25th. Cooking class with Chef Adriana Urbina will be on Saturday, March 25th also at 2 p.m. at the Urban Farm. And the Earth Day Festival will be Saturday, April 22nd at 12 p.m. held at field 60 and 61 by the Urban Farm, which is, I guess, formerly our Cherry Blossom Festival. If you need any more information, all this stuff is on our website, and you can follow social media at Randall's Island. Also on the website, you'll see contacts for our new programs manager in natural areas, not new, but Chris Gugenti, who's been our established natural areas director and public program director and environmental manager essential. And yeah, I would also like to introduce Donna Mills. Hopefully she's on. She's our new deputy park administrator for Randall's Island. If she is on the panel, I'll give her a second just to pop in and say hello.
Yes, hello, everyone. Thank you, Peter. I'm really glad to join you, and I look forward to working with you.
Great. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And could you repeat your position one more time so I can add it to the minutes?
Yes, I'm Deputy Administrator for Randall's Island Park.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, just really looking forward to a great season, and hopefully looking forward to seeing some of you out there. And that's it for Randall's.
Thank you, Peter, and nice to meet you. Tell Dave we said hello, and nice to meet you, Donna, and congratulations. Just wanted to quickly note that we are also doing an Earth Day celebration of sorts. We will be hosting the second annual Earth Day, East Harlem Earth Day Conference on Friday, April 21st, which we'll be talking about later on in our agenda. And I will go ahead and send a save the date to you and all of our other community partners very soon.
Great.
Great. And I'm sure David will be in contact you. We were looking for ways to kind of collaborate. And I think we'll be able to make it work. So if we continue the conversation, we'll figure out how to help you out.
Perfect. And we would be happy to, I think part of the Earth Day celebration is making the community aware of the other Earth Day events that are ongoing in the neighborhood. So we can cross collaborate on that.
That's great.
All right. Are there any questions for Randall's Island Park Alliance? Please raise your hand. All right. Seeing no questions, thank you both for being here, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other parks advocacy groups who would like to give an update? Please raise your hand. Go ahead, Debbie.
Very quickly. So I did mention in passing that we do have a new art installation that was in partnership with the Public Art Initiative with Connie Lee and Kevin Bonilla and Zach Landsberg. And it's dedicated to the commemoration of the Hurricane Maria and raises awareness about climate change. It's going to be there until October. So we're going to be kicking off programming. We're super excited about it. And April Earth Day, the day after, is going to be kicking off our events where we're going to have an Earth Day event with April is also National Poetry Month. So we're thinking about having a poetry festival dedicated to Julia de Burgos. So we're going to be kicking that off in other programs for the year. We're looking forward to some new partnerships that we're excited about. In particular with Madison Square Park Conservancy. They're interested in coordinating an art project with us in 2024, which is super exciting, and looking to partner with the youth committee to do a East Harlem Youth Pride event in June. So we're going into our program mode, and we're super excited and grateful for the support that the community board and others provide us.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Are there any questions for Harlem Art Park? Please raise your hand. Great. And Debbie will promote the heck out of your Earth Day events for our Earth Day conference. So. All right, any other park advocacy groups before we move on to CBOs? All right. Our first community-based organization, we'd like to recognize Always Giving Season. Oh, before we do that, I just see Grace Tang's hand up. One moment. Go ahead, Grace. So sorry.
Sorry, I think that's up in error. It shouldn't, I don't have a question at this time.
Oh, okay, great.
I can try to take it down.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. Always giving Susan.
Hey, good evening, Madam Chairperson. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Angel Diaz. This is Lonine Crawford, Miss Lonine, affectionately known. I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce ourselves. We're a newly formed nonprofit serving the local area, right? We're working out of the Bronx, East Harlem. Those are our two primary focus areas. We have an effective date of April of last year. We have a few different programs that we're rolling out with the Sotomayor Center. That's on Rosedale Avenue in the Bronx. And the first initiative that we are rolling out here in East Harlem is going to be our cleaning initiative. It's a walk and clean initiative. We did one in the Bronx on Kingsbridge Avenue together with the Morris Heights Health Clinic. So we partnered with them. We did one on Kingsbridge Avenue and it worked really well. It built a lot of community pride. They're actually going to keep that program going over there now. So we're going to start on 110th Street. That's going to be the first place that we chose. I'm new to Harlem. Lanine's been in Harlem her whole life. So I went to the library on 110th Street. I loved it, but I did see that it needed to be cleaned up in the area. So we're going to do that on the 18th of March. And we're going to do that from 9 a.m. to 12. We're going to do a walk and clean. So we're starting on First Avenue. We're going to walk up 110th Street to Park Avenue. And then we're going to make a right and clean from between 110th Street and 116th Street on Park Avenue. This is intended to be an ongoing initiative. We're new, like I said, this is the first time we're actually doing it in East Harlem. So I've been trying to contact the local precinct. I think it's the 25th. I haven't been able to get them involved. I would like to have them involved, which is why I reached out to the community board. Everybody told me you guys are the best people to kind of let know what we're doing, inform the community of what's going on, and kind of see the best route. So that's kind of the purpose of today, to introduce myself, introduce Lanine, give you the concept for what we're doing on March 18th. And, you know, we've partnered with Chase on 116th Street. You know, they're helping us with a financial literacy class that we're rolling out. Express Hardware on 123rd Street is sponsoring us. You know, Costco over in the plaza, they're sponsoring us. So we have a little bit of community love going. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know what's going on, ask for support, you know, and yeah, get any advice that you guys are willing to give, answer any questions you guys have. So thank you very, very much for the opportunity, Madam Chair, and for the rest of the committee. Thank you guys. Very well run meeting.
Thank you, Angel, and thank you, Lanine, for being here. And sorry we couldn't get you on the last meeting, but I'm glad that you could be here today. I know there are a ton of people on this call who have great knowledge about you know, events that have been ongoing for parks cleanups and walk and cleans. So if you have any advice or thoughts, if you could please raise your hand. Otherwise, I think we have been, Khalid, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we would be promoting this event through the community board newsletter. And of course, I would encourage all of our community board members to attend, especially from this committee, and to spread the word. So I'll go first to Connie, and then I'll go to Jana. And I see some comments. Simone Marquez, who posted in the chat from Green and Blue Eco Care, is a lovely community partner in this, and she's single-handedly, in some cases, cleaned a lot of our community. So please raise your hand, Simone, if you have any advice to give, and I'll recognize you after Connie and Jana. Go ahead, Connie.
Oh, I just wanted to mention that they need to contact for that walk the 23rd precinct rather than the 25th.
That was an error in speaking. It's right around the corner from me. We've been there 3 times.
On 100.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Jana, go ahead.
Okay, hi. First of all, I just want to thank you guys so much. How lovely to know what you're doing. And I'm happy to be of help if I can. I'm Jana with the Historic Harlem Parks, which includes Morningside, St. Nicholas Park, Jackie Robinson Park, and Marcus Garvey Park. So it sounds like you have a defined area, but if I can be of help on the city side with any contacts you need, I'd be happy to. I'll put my email in the chat.
Great. Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you.
And Simone, did you want to ask your question to the public? Simone is asking if you have any social media that you can share with this group.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I didn't even think about it. So actually we do. Again, it's Always Giving Season Incorporated is the name of the company. On our website is alwaysgivingseason.org. And as of yet, we only have Instagram. So it's Always Giving Season Inc. INC on Instagram. That's all we have as of now. We're building on it though. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And you should follow Simone. Her Instagram is Green and Blue Eco Care. She posted it in the chat. I think you two would be great partners in collaboration on this personally. Great. Are there any other questions or comments for Always Giving Season?
Hey, Chair. I did want to iterate too. I know maybe Always Giving Season does get sponsorships in terms of like cleaning equipment and such, but it would have been great if our DSNY liaison would be here to showcase that DSNY offers, to lend, I believe, cleaning equipment for events such as the one that Always Giving Season is trying to promote. So I did want to put that out there in the ether.
And if I may, I don't want to jump in, but your office, you guys have been great. Khalid dropped that on me a little while ago, and actually we were able to get in contact with the Department of Sanitation, and they are going to give us, we're expecting about 30 volunteers, 25 to 30 volunteers. So they're going to give us some stuff. We did receive a donation from Express Hardware on 123rd Street. They gave us like stuff we could keep, but the Department of Sanitation is going to provide us additional material. So thank you, Khalid. You're big one on that one. Thank you, guys.
Great. Yep, our community board staff is incredible. So if we don't answer emails as quickly, I know Khalid has always got my back. So thank you, Khalid, for following up on all of that. Michelle?
Hi, this is also another point of interest that you might need to know, that in order to contact the Department of Sanitation, so when the garbage bags are collected, so they know that it's not like some sort of commercial garbage that's picked up or personal household garbage. They know where and when to pick it up, and that's an important thing for them.
Right. Yeah, most certainly, because when we filled out the application, they had asked us the drop-off points. So we made 3 drop-off points, and we gave them the start point so they can drop the material off to us. And we gave them the ending point, which would be 116th, basically, in Park Avenue. No, it's 116th and in Park, by La Marqueta. And they're going to meet us there to pick up the material. So yes, exactly what you said, Mrs. Michelle. Thank you. Thank you, guys. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Angel and Lenine. Welcome to the community and congratulations on your nonprofit status. And we look forward to working with you, and please feel free to continue to join these meetings. This is, hopefully the end all be all of all things parks in East Harlem. So happy to help, and, looking forward to your takeaways from this event and how we can continue to support you in the future. Thanks so much. All right. Are there any other community-based organizations who would like to give an, oh, Cynthia, I'm so sorry. I did not see your hand raised. Please feel free to unmute yourself and speak. Khalid, I don't know if...
Is Cynthia an attendee? Okay, I'm going to allow him to speak in 1 second. Cynthia Ramos?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, hi, I'm sorry. Yes. No, I just wanted to reference to the gentleman that was speaking. I attend the community council meetings for the 23rd precinct. So their next one is Wednesday, March 22nd. It's at 6:15 and it's held at Union Settlement at 237 East 104th Street. And that's a great way to get more people involved and talk about their new CBO.
Thank you very much, Cynthia.
And it's open to the public. So the next one is on March 22nd at 6:15 at Union Settlement.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Cynthia, and I'm so sorry I
Okay.
missed your hand.
No, that's okay. No problem. Thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you again. Please raise your hand if you would like to give an update as a community-based organization. Going once. All right, we'll move on. Our first and only presentation for tonight is an update from Department of Parks and Recreation and EDC on all of the great work that they've been doing on all of the Pier 107 community outreach. I'll pass it over to you all. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Jessica. I think I'm going to be sharing my screen. My name is Catherine Probilski with EDC. Meredith Simon Pearson, our project manager, is out of town. So you've got me obviously with my parks colleagues. So give me a second to share.
Hi there, this is Mary. I'll be presenting with Catherine, and I'm joined by my colleagues Sarah Nielsen and Grace Tang of Parks Planning and Ricardo Hinkle of Parks Capital.
And then from EDC, Tara Das is also here from our government and community relations team. Wait, full screen. There we go. That's the one I wanted. Okay. And everyone can see?
Yes, thank you.
Let's see, how do I, oh, okay. Let me look. Why don't you go ahead and start, and I might just cancel this if it's gonna like slow us down. Just a second.
Sure thing.
Okay, now things are being weird. Hold on.
No worries. This happens all the time.
Thanks.
Sometimes those PDFs get crazy large. Oh, you're on mute, Catherine.
And it's actually not a large file. That's the like weird part. And I actually did the thing where I flipped through it to make sure everything was loaded, and now it's being cranky. So hold on, let me just try again now. Okay, all right. We may just leave it on not full screen view right now, if that's okay.
I think it looks fine.
Okay.
If anyone has any problems, please just raise your hand and we'll address it.
Great, okay. Okay, Mary, take it away. And I'm trying to find out how to mute myself while I'm.
Sure, and I'll talk just on this first slide with the title to say hello, sorry. And then Catherine will walk us through some of the background on the community outreach, and then I will finish talking about some of the findings and the peer sighting. So Catherine, feel free to get started.
Cool. Thanks, Mary. So again, thanks everyone. And thanks for everyone that has joined us over the past month and a half, 2 months, in engaging with us and talking to us about your experience in East Harlem on the East River Esplanade and with Pier 107. So tonight, just quickly a briefing on what the project is, just for any new folks in the room, and welcome to you as well. And then the goals of the project, and then really we're here to tell you what we heard from all of your neighbors and folks over the past of the past engagement. And then we also had broached an idea of moving the pier to 112th Street. So we're going to talk about the location of the pier and our next steps for actually advancing the design. So the project is here in East Harlem, obviously, and it's rebuilding the Esplanade that's out there, the Esplanade and Bulkhead, from 94th Street up to 107th Street, and then rebuilding a pier, and then again Esplanade from 117th to 124th Street. The goal is to bring us to a state of good repair. It's a generational project for East Harlem. Restore the areas that are closed for public access, liven the waterfront, and really have a high quality design open space and bring community uses and program to the pier space. So we started off with our consultants in August, doing a lot of due diligence, site investigations, and that kind of stuff, and meeting with city agencies and making sure we understood any parameters that we didn't at the time. And we had a first meeting here with you guys in January, and then over the past few weeks had a bunch of other engagement with the public. And so what Mary's going to step through are kind of the result, or wait, am I stepping through the results of the engagement? So we had an online survey, and then we had two meetings, one virtual, one in person, and then a walkthrough with a bunch of folks, and then some pop-ups, which was just our consultants kind of going out into East Harlem to 3 spots just a couple weeks ago. So here's some of those activities. The survey, as of last week, we had 330 folks had responded on the survey. The survey was about what folks do in the Esplanade, and what they would like to see and how they use it. We had an informational meeting where we really just presented to you the parameters of the project. We had 55 folks there. The 2 workshops where we broke out into groups. On the left is the in-person one, the pictures, and we also had a virtual one. And then we had a walkthrough where we had 34 attendees and a puppy dog with us. We had 2 groups starting at the 2 different northern and southern ends of the park. We met in the middle, and then we kept going. And then we had a pop-up again where there were 3 locations in East Harlem where our consultants were stationed, and met with just a bunch of folks that may or may not have known about the project already. And so the takeaways from the survey, from the online survey, which again was really about how folks use the Esplanade now, what they'd like to see. Really a wide range of age groups. We asked folks to say their age. Most folks were over 35. We did have a quarter folks that are considered seniors, and almost everyone lives in East Harlem, seconding folks Upper East Side, and that we had that done by zip code. So almost half the folks come at least once a week, which is really amazing, really great. And folks get there from all the different locations and ways to get to the Esplanade. And obviously this is a very long stretch. It includes a section that is not in our scope, but folks are coming. Anyway, I met someone that walks the northern section every week on our walkthrough, come across the Ped Bridge and walk along the waterfront there, and walk all the way down to 96th and further south. So folks use the Esplanade for exercise. They use it for walking, biking, cycling, and that's typically how folks also get to the Esplanade. We had a series of questions on how to get there. Do you take the train and walk? Do you drive there? Like, how do you get there? And most folks, which I think is probably unsurprising, most folks get there by walking or cycling. And then at the workshop, the 2 workshops, the virtual and in person, we showed images of different things that happen along waterfronts and in parks around the city and the world, and asked some questions. And so we asked people how important certain components were, and were these. And so it's very important that it's safe, obviously, and a continuous path on the waterfront. People would be interested in new activities, but also that it's still a place of calm and quiet. You've got folks that sit and enjoy just the water, right? And it's medium important that it really maintains the current character. And I see that as keeping it looking exactly like it does today. So people are interested in new activities and a safe, continuous path. And then again, this is for the Esplanade specifically. And so specific pieces, specific design elements that folks would like to see. People were interested in a separated pedestrian and bike lanes. Obviously people love to sit, wanted to see a lot more trees and vegetative buffers to the FDR and native plantings along the Esplanade. Similar type of outreach and questioning on the pier. So again, asked folks about what was more or less important on certain things. And so it was very important that it promotes native ecology, that it's a gathering place. There's an interaction with the water, and that it also reflects the neighborhood's diverse history. There also was a question about quiet and comfort. So it was also important that it is quiet and comfort, but it was less of a demand and less of a request compared to the Esplanade. And then again, the kind of specific design elements or components that folks would be interested in seeing or experiencing on the pier. A shade structure, folks talked about shade. A gathering area, definitely seating still for that calm and quiet and relaxing. Fishing definitely still had an interest, and that ecological enhancement folks were interested in as well.
And I'll take it away from here. Thanks, Catherine. So thank you to everybody who attended these events. It was pretty incredible to see everybody in person. We received a lot of input and it was so wonderful to meet everybody and get to know you. As a reminder for those who weren't there or would like a refresher, this project involves completely demolishing and rebuilding the pier, which is currently at 107th Street. So we came to the community back in January to get insights on the idea of rebuilding the pier at 112th Street instead of at 107th Street, knowing that there were some uncertainties associated with it, just kind of like an early read to get the temperature of the community's interest in relocating the pier. And we learned a lot from our engagement at the walkthrough pop-ups and workshops. There was great feedback received on what people currently do, as Catherine mentioned, how they access the space and what they would like to see on both the Esplanade and the pier. Regarding the pier specifically being rebuilt in a different location, the feedback was pretty mixed. A number of people wanted to move it to 112th, some had no preference or were undecided, and some preferred to leave it at 107th. And then aside from the public feedback on the pier itself, EDC and parks have also been considering variables, more technical variables, like what our regulatory partners, such as permitting agencies, will require. And as you may have heard, we are currently in the process of requesting funding to fill the gap. As Catherine mentioned, our project is in 2 segments, and there actually is a space 107th to 114th in the middle that's not currently a part of our scope. We are looking to get funding to essentially add that, but we're unclear on really when that funding would be delivered, and if so, ultimately. So these are basically just the technical uncertainties we're working with alongside that feedback. And you can go ahead, drum roll, please. Here's the result. Next slide. So ultimately, EDC and parks think that in the interest of moving the project forward, that we should rebuild the pier where it currently is at 107th. And the reason is that this is a more predictable and straightforward path. So our priority is getting the project moving and delivering it to you as soon as possible. And with these technical uncertainties that I mentioned regarding the funding and some of the permitting regulatory components, as well as just general mixed feedback on the location, it just seemed that this approach made the most sense to our team. So regardless of the outcome, the outreach process was extremely useful. It was by no means a waste of time. Like, we were so glad we went out there. We heard really creative ideas regarding putting something at 112th. And also people mentioned something further south at 102nd. So we're excited about that. And we hope to engage on these type of opportunities around enlivening the locations along the river in the future. So do not worry that this is the last time you're hearing from us. We will continue providing updates to CB11 over time, and there will be more opportunities for input on the design as the project progresses. So stay tuned. This is just the first little bit, and then now we're actually moving on to some tangible ideas that we can share with you. So thanks again for all your input. We've heard you, and we will continue coming back. So that's the next steps here. April will be a bit of a quiet month as we're working. And then in May, we have a community workshop, another one, as well as a second pop-up. So we're looking forward to seeing you virtually and in person in May. One thing that we've talked about in our earlier meetings and not so much today is our artist process. We are currently in the process of working with our artist selection committee. And back in June, we will essentially have an opportunity for the public to see finalist proposals and kind of hear what is on the docket, what the artist selection committee is considering. So stay tuned for that. Of course, we will be going through PDC, and you'll be hearing about those milestones, as I mentioned, future CB11 presentations. And then looking out to September, there'll be a third community workshop. So don't get tired of us yet, because we're coming back, but this is it for now for today. So thank you so much. And we really appreciate getting to know you better and hearing everything that you had to say. So thank you.
Thank you so much to all of you. I know there's plenty of people on both of your teams, and I saw many of you in person at many of these events, and just wanted to say how grateful I am personally, and I think the community board is to you all for even posing this question, giving us the opportunity to weigh in. It's not something that we normally get an opportunity to do. So excited to see how this is evolving, and happy that we've made a decision and that we're moving forward, and looking forward to seeing you all throughout all of the next meetings and events that you all are planning. So I will open it up to questions and comments. If you have a question, please raise your hand and I will address committee members and then public members or the public members of the public. Any questions or comments? Please raise your hand through Zoom. If you have a question or comment, please raise your hand. We will not be reading questions from the chat. Michelle?
Hi. Thank you for your presentation and definitely your outreach throughout the neighborhood. I was wondering, you said that there was the people were thinking about 102nd Street as well as 112th, so they added another possible position. And how, it's two questions. And if the one is completed at 107th, is there still a possibility of there being another pier being done on 112th? Was that part of the involvement of the outreach?
I think, do you want me to take it, Grace or Mary or Sarah?
Yeah, Catherine, why don't you start and I'll
Great.
chime in.
Cool. Yeah, what we heard was mixed on a decision between 107 and 112. What we heard a bit too was we want both, which we cannot do. But in that too, we also heard in the kind of we want both. Well, we also want something down here, like 102nd, 96. We need more room. We want more activity. We want more places on the Esplanade. And so it doesn't mean that we can also do a pier at 112th as part of the gap in funding. It just allows us to move forward now with starting design of the Esplanade and the pier at 107th Street. And it leaves flexibility for the future for those other locations. That works, Sarah? Okay.
I also did see a question in the chat about the budget. So that's $284 million of city funding and 10 million in grant funding for a total of 294 million.
Great. Connie?
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Hi, I'm just wondering, the 107th Street Pier, are we still looking at the option of, although maintaining the same amount of square footage, changing the shape or keeping it the long shape that it is now?
We would keep the same area, again, the 16,000 and change square feet. I don't believe we are tied to the footprint, but that would be in conversation with our regulatory partners with the state.
Okay, thank you.
And the goal is to be as creative and think big, even though it's staying where it is, when rebuilt. Ideally, this would be something that, as Catherine said, is a generational investment and really reflects some new priorities. So we're looking forward to making it feel fresh and new, not just a kind of a repeat of what's there. Shape, size, shape, appearance, features, etc.
Thank you. I got a little excited about changing the shape.
Still possible. David? David, go ahead.
Sorry, trying to unmute. So I guess with a budget that costly, I know we have a bathroom, right? I mean, I'm not gonna even, if we're gonna spend 300 million to fix something up, I know we're gonna have a bathroom. Because that only goes for what, 1 million, 2 million, or whatever, it'll be up to 5 million for a bathroom. We cannot do this and not have a bathroom and spend $300 million.
I'm sorry to say that waterfront structures are incredibly expensive. They're very difficult to build, and this project does not currently include a bathroom.
No, I don't doubt that they are, but I'm saying find 2 more million and put a bathroom. Because if not, again, as we always say, nature calls, nature happens. And people who have children, nature happens. So you know what? Whatever you can do to find, you got 10 million other funding, you better make sure you find whatever it is to put a bathroom.
Thank you, David.
Remember, because it is on the other side of the highway, It is not easy to get to. It's a beautiful area, and we want to maintain that beauty. But again, this is again the same issue we have with every project that comes into either a park, open space, is make sure that we provide facilities for bathrooms.
Thank you, David. And I know Parks and EDC has heard us loud and clear on this one. And I know they're doing the best that they can. I know Parks has, is moving forward with that additional restroom at Thomas Jefferson Park, which we know will not be enough. But we are also working with our partners here to implement a future bathroom at the Harlem Greenway Link project, which, as you know, they provided a space for the bathroom.
292, Jessica. I mean, let's be real.
Yep, I can only imagine how much, with the complications of this site, how incredibly expensive it will be with the bulkheads and all the different conditions on the waterfront. So I just want to be aware of the constraints here. Yep. And we'll continue to push forward for bathrooms continuously. And I think that we'll have some success now that there's been some things moving forward at the city and state level and with the borough president's office. Debbie?
I'm just going on record now. Moving forward, if there is no bathroom and anything, I'm not supporting it. That's what it comes down to, because the only way that the city understands things is if you say no. And from now on, that's the position that I'm going to take, because it's pathetic and it's frustrating and it's sad.
I hear you. Thank you, Debbie. All right, we'll open it up.
That has to be even raised, Jessica, and they know how we feel about it. It again becomes to a point, becomes insulting.
I know.
And I will not support it either.
Okay, well, we're not asking for any support at this time, but I think we're all looking forward to these projects moving forward, and obviously we all are aware of the needs.
But at the time, Jessica, we do.
David, you're going to need to wait to be recognized in my committee meetings. Thank you. We are loud and clear on the restrooms. Everyone knows that East Harlem needs restrooms, and we will continue to fight that fight. Thank you. I will now recognize members of the public. I'll start with Cynthia and then Warren, and we'll go down the list. Cynthia?
Okay, hi, I just wanted to congratulate everyone. I actually went on the tour with my daughter. We had learned about it from CPE2, our principal, Naomi Smith, and I was actually in the live in-person community workshop as well, and it was awesome. I think that people really need to attend these meetings more to learn more about the whole process, because it was explained in details. And during that meeting, the bathroom was brought up several times, but I'm glad that the location was chosen for 107. I had gotten the surveys, and I'm a community ambassador for the East Harlem Community Partnership, and I spread information as much as I could as soon as I found out about it, about the Esplanade. And I want to just congratulate all the hard work, because I know it hasn't been easy for them and for Mary and everybody. And and with Connie, I agree with Connie what she said as well about the structure. We were all wondering what was going to happen, if it was going to remain the same shape or not. But congratulations and thank you for your hard work.
It was wonderful to meet you and your daughter. I remember you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, she remembers you too. It was lovely. We can't wait to look forward to the next events.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Warren and then Mario.
I'm unmuting now. This is Warren James, and I attended the workshops and the walkthrough. I'm an architect and planner by training and practice. I think that we pointed out and we discovered in the workshop that there is an existing bathroom on the FDR Drive in 106 on the side of the city, and that's the closest to 107. There is an existing bathroom. It's just a matter of finding the way to connect it. If a new pedestrian bridge is needed, that's the missing link in terms of funding. Finally, the other thing that was missing in all the presentations was the connection to the 2nd Avenue subway station at 106 and the potential for connectivity of transportation so that the entire city can also enjoy 107 pier, because it can have water features, it can have recreational use for boats, and connect back to the subway, to the buses. And by keeping it at 107, it has a huge advantage over any other location. So I want to thank EDC, the parks, and CB11 for the community outreach and participation. But we've learned new things since then. And so I wanted to encourage the designers and consultants to continue looking at all of the pluses of 107. Thanks.
Thank you, Warren. Mario de la Rosa, and then Cynthia. Oh, sorry, and then Simone.
Yeah, hi, thank you. I just had two questions. One's the budget. You mentioned it's $294 million. Out of the $294 million, that's not including any work whatsoever between 107 to 111?
Between 107th and 114th. Yeah, there's essentially a gap between our project, which goes from 94th to 107th, and then the East River Esplanade Phase 2, which is a parks project that picks up at 114th to 117th, and then our project picks up again. So yes, there is a gap,
Okay.
unfunded currently.
Unfunded, okay.
Yeah, and we are in the process of asking for funding for that, but you know, we're not entirely sure what OMB will decide and when. So.
Okay, and then the other, just to point out to the community board, the bathrooms that are coming to Thomas Jefferson Park are a new pilot program. They're porter potties, and they're not costing $2 million. They're not costing millions of dollars, and that's why they're doing it. So I wonder if Parks Department can look into this to see if this has no plumbing whatsoever that might be able to be added to this project.
Thank you, Mario. That was something we brought up at our previous meeting when Parks came to present about the Portland Loo project. And, you know, as David and Debbie aptly noted, there are an extreme lack of restrooms, and this project would include one single-use restroom. And we had made many comments during that meeting and in our response to Parks to consider the potential to add additional restrooms in that location as possible. And the fact that, you know, the Portland single-use bathroom type does not necessarily replace a full comfort station in our minds as a community board. So these conversations are ongoing, but thank you so much for that comment. We are well aware.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Great. Simone, and then Felice.
Yes, hi. So regarding the bathrooms, I think we have to think about think outside the bathroom box. There are many natural ways of creating bathrooms with plants that clean all the sewage, and whatever is discharged to the river is clean. If you guys want to look into Omega Institute, it's a place with a lot of people go for retreats, and they have an incredible system there, all natural. So there are many ways to clean sewage with plants, and that will be an amazing opportunity to show that it's possible to do this without big infrastructure, high, like a lot of money, you know what I mean? So I hope that we can do something like that. It's gonna solve the problem, and at the same time, you're teaching people about all the possibilities, right? And I would like to know about this gap that you mentioned. I saw something that this a proposal for seawalls by the Army Corps of Engineers. It's like a huge wall. What can you tell me about this? Because they say the Army Corps is accepting community feedback and comments on its plan through March 7th.
Yeah. Thank you, Simone. And before I pass it over to Parks and EDC, just to note that the community board did take a position, did provide comment for that. It's the Army Corps of Engineers HATS study. And we noted, our concerns for that project, but and I'm sure Parks and EDC can say this better than I can, but those projects are in planning stages and are not funded. The designs are not in any way complete or completely thought through, and it's a large area of study that is encompassing large masses of New York and New Jersey. So that is something that's going to be ongoing for many years, if not decades. And I know that these parks projects, EDC projects, are funded and are moving forward. So we have asked that the Army Corps of Engineers be aware and communicate with us and with the other city agencies as those projects come to fruition, so that we can have alignment. But right at this time, we don't have all of the answers. So,
Okay.
is there anything you want to add, Parks or EDC?
That was perfect, Jessica.
Great.
Was it
Doing my best.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Simone. I appreciate you. Apologies if I say your name incorrectly. Felice Farber.
Hi, thank you. So I'm on Community Board 8. I just wanted to say this is a great presentation. I'm really impressed with the project and the proposal. I've raised this issue before, and I just wanted to go on record again that we hope that the Davit will be restored at 96th Street and the supporting infrastructure. So I just wanted to add that, but thank you. I think this is really a terrific project.
Thanks, Felice. I guess our response back to CB8 wasn't explicit enough, but yes, the Davit will be included in the project moving forward.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you. And I know the community board had also issued a letter of support for that early on in the project. So thank you to all the community partners and advocates in the community for bringing these kinds of things to our attention so that we can be ahead of that. And very grateful to Parks and EDC for making that part of the project. Are there any other questions or comments for Parks or EDC? Please raise your hand. All right, seeing no hands. Oh, David?
I just want to say this is a great project. So aside from the issue with the bathroom, thank you, and we do appreciate the work. It's again, just a position we have to take in advocating for important other things in the community as part of these projects, but it is great. I mean, I was out there on a tour, we went on the committee, and just seeing what was there and what could be there and what's been done in other communities, we appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, David. And thank you to the tireless work of this committee and all of the residents and community-based organizations to advance our advocacy on the availability of public restrooms. Very, very important issue. Thank you. All right, if there's nothing else, we will let you all go. Thank you so much for being here and for all of your great work.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Good night.
Thanks. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you all. Good night.
All right, next on the agenda. Is there any old business? Seeing no hands. We'll move on to new business. All right, Khalid, do you mind if I share my screen? Give me 1 second. One tiny little screen. All right. So I haven't sent this out yet. I was waiting for approval from the rest of the community board leadership, but I do have it now. So I will go ahead and circulate this to all of the CBOs, city agencies, elected officials, and residents that attended our previous East Harlem, the first annual East Harlem Earth Day conference that we had last year. And we're going to be continuing this into this year. So this will be on April 21st, which is a Friday, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the same location as last year. I'm grateful to the Museum of the City of New York for their sharing of resources and assisting us in hosting this event in their lovely space. It's a treat. So we're excited to be back there again this year. So we will be again providing lunch. And I think the question here to the committee is, what do we want to do? So last year, I think we had a great event. I think in my personal opinion, and it was probably mostly my fault, but we had a great team of people that were working to put together that event. And I think our goals were pretty lofty. And we tried to cram as many things as we possibly could into one single day of events. And I think moving forward, and please, I'll open it up for comments and questions, but I would love your opinions on what we loved about that event, what we could do without. And hopefully the goal this year would be to condense it so that we focus, maybe presentations aren't so long. Maybe, we focus more on the community-based organizations and working in partnership with them. Last year, we did not necessarily invite elected officials to come and speak, or we didn't invite them to participate, but I think this year we could do a little bit more elected official outreach. I know there are a lot of elected officials in our district who care deeply about environmental justice and could help to raise awareness about the things such as bathrooms that we are really looking to get funded. So this is the save the date that I will share. And as I can't see my little tabs here. Here it is. Okay, so we had a sort of work day, Earth Day work plan and last year, and I think we can use this moving forward and perhaps continue this conversation offline. But I think last year sorry, I'm a little bit unprepared for this. I haven't updated this document in any way, so hoping to get your all's feedback. But we would, last year we did a 10 a.m. CB11 intro just to get residents aware, if they weren't already, about who the community board is and what we're doing, what our committee is working on when it comes to parks, open space, and environmental justice, and really health equity in East Harlem. We had a number of presentations from the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, New York City Department of City Planning, EDC, and Parks, and they were presenting on sort of planned and ongoing projects in the neighborhood, which I think was great. It was a little fast paced and maybe a lot of information to take in at once. So, maybe we focus the presentations on a few elements that, we really feel are important. We had a lunch at the, on the terrace outside of the museum, which I think we could easily do again, and have community-based organizations and other partners hosting tables so that residents and other participants can go up and learn more about those organizations and ways to get involved. And then we had a strategy workshop with the CBOs and our Manhattan Community Board 11. So that was the program last year. Does anyone have any comments on what their experience was, or what we might change moving forward? And apologies because I can't see hands. Connie?
Hi. I think with the city agency presentations, I think there was too much information that was sort of, what they've accomplished in the past and project that they've done in the past, which, then it becomes sort of a, more of a like photo op for city agency. If we can if we can get them to focus on, new projects that we want more and more people in the neighborhood to hear about, things that haven't actually started or things they're planning. That's just a suggestion. I think, we all go to so many events and things, and we're kind of tired of hearing whether it's an elected official or a city agency, pat themselves on the back, or really just showing up for a photo op. And I don't mean to be critical or mean about it, but I think we've, I think most people will agree with me. We have enough of that. That said, I think maybe we can focus on the elected officials who have actual ideas and plans for the environment that they've already, publicly put out there, and maybe want to push forward even further.
Great.
And I know you need a lot more help with organizing this. I don't know exactly what you need. My time is somewhat limited in the coming months just because of big projects that I'm working on. And I know you're in the exact same boat, but I am willing to help. Just let me know what needs to be done.
Great. Thank you so much, Connie. And that was incredible feedback. I think you're 100% right that, I think ideally it would have been more planned and new projects coming from the city agency partners. And we can make that a priority, and completely agree. I think what I think would be necessary is, I think after outreach to all of these different organizations and groups, seeing who would be interested in attending, maybe we sort of meet with all of the potential options and decide, sort of what gets priority and what we might not think is important enough to spend time on, people's time and energy at this event listening to. So I think it would be great if, I know some of the elected officials that are promoting environmental justice, but if you have any specific thoughts on who to reach out to specifically on the elected official side, that would be helpful. Otherwise, I'm just going to do a blanket to everyone and, just see who would like to be there. That's the plan.
Yeah, I think Mark Levine is a good idea.
Great.
I just, the last thing that I want to say is I thought the strategy workshop after lunch was really quite good. And I think maybe, we might consider some of the people who participated in that, the community-based organizations, giving them more of a platform so that they can, build their volunteer bases and that kind of thing.
Great idea. Thank you.
That's it for me.
Thanks so much, Connie. Debbie, and then David. Debbie?
I was on the same track in terms of what Connie was saying. I think we should flip it. I think that we should highlight the groups that we met later in the afternoon, put that in the front, put that at the forefront. With the elected officials, I think or the city agencies, I think there's a better way maybe for them to communicate their projects, maybe having QR codes or something that's less, talking heads type of thing. And then they could showcase new projects. And then with elected officials, what I would consider is a sweep of legislation, current or future pending legislation for environmental justice, and then ask them to be prepared to talk about or what's their position on it, so that we can kind of get them on record in terms of what they support and what they don't support. Because they can come and say, oh, I love the trees, and then vote for something else. So I think that flipping it a little bit, reframing the information, and the interactive lunch with having people showcase with tables is good, and then figuring out really how to get folks there is really something that we need to work on. And the lunch, I would not go with that vendor. We have to do something else.
Okay, loud and clear. And so last year we had a grant. This year, my grant is over. So I will not be able to do what we did last year.
You go with what you have. We were lucky to have that budget And it kind of spoils people,
I know.
you know, in terms of now we really have to do the other type of work, which is
Yeah.
working with a shoestring budget or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we can easily, you know, accomplish lunch as an, you know, something that is paid for. But I don't think we're going to do like the, you know, $50 for residents, because that was only funded through the grant program that I was in. But thank you for those great comments. I completely agree with everything that you said. David, and then Michelle.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, we're lucky when we can get grants and those other things, and those are good incentives to keep people moving. But, you know, we've had budgets as part of the community board, small ones, like I think 500 that we've been able. So hopefully we can find something simple enough, or, you know, reach out to, you know, do the beg, borrow, or whatever happens. But I would just say that, you know, maybe we include kids more in an interactive way as opposed to just participants in seeing something that is during the break. Or maybe, you know, just like I was thinking as we were sitting here, between both committees, we've had quite a lot of youth come and present about environmental spaces in their schools, right? And we live in the concrete jungle.
Yep.
We're lucky we have these parks that we're fixing up the waterfront in Central Park. But maybe there's a piece that can be done with kids as well. Or maybe we can have some of the kids present, you know, like we're going to have in 2 weeks with Principal Panetta. And, you know, I just another thought, you know, I always think that, you know, as Debbie and Connie also said, where do we look to the future of things, right? And we want to get kids conscious in their environments and those differences, you know. So it's just a thought, you know, and I know we brainstorm more. Sorry about yesterday. I got confused. I kept linking on to this meeting. I was in the phone driving home and didn't realize. And then when I got home, the meeting was over when I finally realized.
Don't worry about it.
But
We're
maybe
gonna
there's
have a
something we
follow-up
can
meeting.
do, you know, with the kids. And I'm sure Asha would love to do something because, you know, Ash also participates in the community garden up on Pleasant Avenue up there. So just another thought.
Yeah, and David, just to follow up on that, you know, last year we tried to make it a little interactive with sort of, you know, feedback boards similar to what EDC and Parks did with the Pier 107 meetings that they just had. But do you think it would be worth, you know, inviting groups or schools to give short presentations or something like that? Or what are you imagining?
Well, I think maybe, you know, we reach out to Dr. Christie's, the superintendent, and said we'd like to, you know, offer or have, I wouldn't have not everybody come. I would have maybe one school come and present, but then also have the list of all the places. So, you know, if it's 108, then we have Peter Manuel, right? But then, you know, we've known Paul Richards has went through that. We identify which schools are connected with, you know, playgrounds, open spaces that are community and not just their own. And you know, just a thought. So I'm looking forward to the presentation on the 14th, and maybe we ask them to participate. You know, again, that's also the week when the kids are out of school and families go on vacations, you know, and so some of them are around or not. But if we could do something and invite, you know, maybe we can get one good group to come. I think it would be great, you know.
Yeah, no,
Again,
I
I'm
think
always trying to promote youth, so you know that's
yes. Thank you for the cross committee collaboration.
always.
I agree that, you know, focusing on one school would be, you know, better than trying to open it up to a million of them. And that could be a more focused effort. So I will certainly reach out to the superintendent and I'll be sure to CC you on all those communications, and I'll lean on you to help connect us with the right school. But I think, you know, Peter Minuet PS 108 could be a good option since they have a direct connection to us from the conversation.
I think, yeah, I think right now that might be the best one. And that park needs so much, as we know. And you know, even the name on that park and you know, yada yada, you know, but we
All
can
that
discuss that
jazz.
further. Yeah.
Thanks, David. Great comments. Michelle and then Russell and Malik, I saw your hand and I'm going to tell you to comment, so you better re-raise it. Michelle?
Okay. I did like, to me, the strongest part of last year's first annual climate change conference was the circle that we had at near the end, where we had a chance to talk and process what we had heard in the morning. And we'd also had lunch and had spoken to the different officials that were there on a more intimate level. I went to recently just talking about like circular economy, things that can touch home that people can understand a little bit closer to hand. Talking about compost. Mark Levine had spoken about the initiative of going to different doors, going to different buildings to pick up compost, talking about these orange cans that are on the sidewalks that not many people would know about. I saw one guy, like, what is this thing? He's walking his dog and he stood and he went around and he stopped, he walked around it again. He was like, what is this? And to give more information about what is being put into our neighborhood would excite people. And to hear, yes, the public official would like to talk, but give them like 3 minutes to talk about, sort of like a round table, like, okay, talk, but not so long that people zone out.
Yeah. That's a big part of, I think, yeah, people were falling asleep halfway through the presentations last year. And I think that was our concern, we'd love to have elected officials there, but I think we just need to set some, guidelines and boundaries as to like what our expectations are, because we don't want to turn it into like, it's just the elected officials show. So yeah, I completely agree with those comments. And thank you so much, Michelle, and for all that you do. Russell?
And I would be interested in the weekly meetings that we did last times, and you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah, appreciate that. We'll start them back up. Russell?
I have a different take on the elected officials and not making this elective. I would approach it or suggest that we include the elected officials who have that on their agenda, who they campaign for it. That would be the natural buy-in for them.
Russell, it's hard to hear you.
So what you want me to do? Talk louder?
I can hear you pretty well. And maybe if you just talk a little bit louder, you'll be okay.
I'll talk a little louder.
Sorry, it's just me then.
No, it could be me. I'm trying to talk softly. Remember, I talk harshly a lot. So I'm just trying to be easygoing now. Okay. So I would say I would approach it where I would identify those elected officials who environmental justice is on their agenda. They campaign for it. So that's a natural buy-in. Secondly, I would seek out those elected officials. It could be borough-wide, it could be city-wide, it doesn't matter. Because if they are involved with it, that's something they would want to participate in. And when they speak, it's not about in a generalization, it's about how they support it. And identify those elected officials who are on the fence, not knowing where they want to go one way or the other. Just have them there. They could be their spectators just to visit, just to see it. No speaking role. Mm-hmm. And we know when elected officials get near a mic, they all want to speak. So we just deny that. The ones that are actually campaigning for it, they're fighting for it, have them there. Those are willing participants. I agree with David. This should be interactive with young people, but I would not designate it for, I understand the labor intensiveness to get multiple schools, but if we can have young people understand two things about what is environmental justice in the community, what does it mean, how do they interact with it? It could be the superintendent making it a district-wide question. What do young people know about environmental justice? How are they practicing it? How can they practice it? And then when they attend, it could be per school or it could be as a group, they are speaking to the elected officials to let them know that this is what they understand it to be, and they should be there understanding how the system is working for them. This is how this really works. It's not about coming in seeing these guys who people vote for that they might be later on encouraged they have to vote and the topics they have to vote, but being interactive where this is our community, this is what I understand environmental, protecting the environment. What does it mean, compost? So at the various levels, but have them present what they think, school by school, could be with five, with two or three kids at a time. Doesn't matter. I represent this school, this school, this school. Every school should be represented, just to be able to say this is our position to elected officials. At the same time, educate them to let them know this is how our process works. Let them know the challenges that are being fought, what we're fighting for, and ultimately we're doing it for them because they're going to be here for the longer term. If that could be coordinated that type of way, I would think there's genuinely being interactive. They're not there, they're talking to each other. That's the focus. And to use it as a model where we could collaborate with other community boards to say, what are we doing? It could be more of a collaborative effort. That's my little input.
Great. Thank you so much, Russell. Love hearing your opinions. Diane?
So last year I sat with Michelle at the front desk. And what I observed was that there were a lot of people from the community that came, and the draw, of course, was the $50 gift certificate, I believe. It was a gift certificate.
It was a gift card, yeah.
Right. And then, of course, we had to explain to them that they had to stay throughout the whole thing in order to get the $50, and they weren't getting it as cash. So, but that was a huge draw to get the people who ordinarily wouldn't come to these meetings to come, and then they got interested, and of course you fed them at the end. So it's now that you're not going to offer that, what will be the draw this time? There were also people that I invited from the Esplanade who came, who really thoroughly enjoyed it because it was a learning process for them, an opportunity to network not only with East Harlem, but also with many of the agency people that were there who had the same belief as we do in environmental justice. So in listening to everybody, I think we've got to come up with a draw. And one of the things I thought about is perhaps you should look at having the person who's putting in that temporary bathroom, have them come and do a presentation as to what does that mean for East Harlem and how does that work? And particularly for the children, if they do come, they are going to be dealing with this in the future. So they should know what the issues are, and perhaps they might want to get involved with that whole aspect of a quote public bathroom. And so that's just my thoughts. It's drawing people and getting them to say and be interested.
Yeah, thank you, Diane.
We're advocating for it. Why would we not have some type of presentation about what's coming? This public bathroom, this temporary bathroom, which if you look at the picture, it kind of looks like what they have in Portland, and it looks like what they have in Europe. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, great suggestion. And I think one of the reasons why, we all felt it was so important that the gift cards were provided was that, the time of our residents is valuable. And if they're going to come to an event like this, that's a few hours long, we want them to feel like it's worth their time. And, unfortunately, we won't have the payment anymore, but, how do we make people feel valued and respected and included in the event, with or without a cash payment? So yeah, I think the Portland Lou presentation is a good idea. Right. I think we should continue to think about this and, what can we offer? Is there, some sort of like community feedback element that we're looking for? We can help support the community-based organizations in some way, or I think David and Russell's comments about bringing children to present on the issues that they're facing at their schools, or to present on small educational topics would be really fun. And I think people would come to see kids and to see, to help that process of education. But wondering if anyone has any other ideas. Thank you, Diane. That was really helpful, and we should continue to think about that.
Yeah, you look at the two most pressing issues that we're facing. The bathroom issue is always going to be an issue for us.
Yep.
And of course, the whole Esplanade. It's not just the portion that we heard tonight. It's all of the Esplanade from 96th Street all the way up to 135th beyond 135th Street. So, you know, we need to present topics that people from the community is going to come out and hear because they want to hear an update on it, along with the children.
And I wonder, you know, there's also like Randall's Island and other groups like Trees New York, they had the like pruning lessons for street trees and things. Like, I wonder if there's an opportunity to bring in like a group like that to teach an actively useful skill to people, could also be another idea. I'll go to Russell and then Debbie, and I'm still going to ask Malik to re-raise his hand.
Okay, when Diane brought up the, she called it, I call it incentives, the hook, whatever brought them there. Why not we overload these types of programs with elected officials, and we always want young people involved in it. How could we identify some celebrity-like folk that would attract young people that they would want to be there, because these celebrities, at whatever level celebrity could be, that environmentally involved. Get them to participate at some level, and also have some types of celebrities that elected officials would want to be in their presence, to be our incentives for showing up for that way. That's my input.
Yeah, thank you. And I thought we were celebrities being on these meetings. It'd be great to get any suggestions or possible connections that we might have to move forward in that direction. Thank you so much, Russell. Debbie and then Malik.
Very quickly, because I know we're you know, we want to hear from other folks as well. But one of the things that may be a draw is, and the museum may be able to help, is to tell the story of the Lenape, the Indians, along the Esplanade, and the transformation of that. Also, the transformation of what's going to happen in the Harlem Mere. You know, so like the changing of the waterways, and what does that mean in terms of like the universal vibration of stuff. I'm just, you know, like just throwing it out there, but you know, it's going to be a shift, right? So what does that shift mean? What role can you play in that? And maybe use it as the way to recruit the next generation of environmental justice warriors.
Yeah. Excellent idea. And I recently went to the Museum of the City of New York, and I attended one of the guided tours of the museum, and oh my God, it was excellent. So I wonder if, you know, we could even get one of the tour guides to come and give just even a 5 to 10 minute version of that as it relates to the Lenape people or the history of the land. And I think that's an excellent idea. Yeah. Thank you so much. Malik, and then I'll recognize Donna. And if everyone could put down their old hands, that would be helpful. Malik? Malik, you're on mute and you lowered your hand. Malik, are you there? All right, I'll come back to you. Not letting it slide. I want to hear your comment. I'll recognize Donna. I'm going to stop sharing my screen if that's okay. I don't know how.
No, my connection is bad. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
You hear me?
Yes, I hear me. I hear you. I hear me.
Yeah, my connection is bad.
Well, we hear you. Oh.
Yeah. I was just gonna briefly say about the $500 that we have. I know that can go but so far, but I know we could use that as far as the food is concerned. And Russell brought up a great point about the elected officials. I mean, the one thing about elected officials, when you invite them somewhere, for sure, they definitely gonna want to speak. So you gotta kind of like, it's like known, like it's like an internal thing, like known that every elected official will speak in due turn based off of, I guess, title and, you know, who they are. But I mean, it's kind of known that they do that. So I don't know what can come up with the committee, but that's definitely something that needs to, I guess, be addressed if they draw it out too long. So that was my only two things. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a concern. We don't want to make it the elected official show, but we still want to give them an opportunity to, contribute in a meaningful way. Thank you, Malik.
Mhm. Say hi.
Hi, baby. Thanks for that, Malik. It was amazing. Donna?
Yes, before you mentioned about pruning lessons and things like that, we certainly want to be involved in this effort, and we're starting to think about some of the ways that we can, bring something of interest. And I really appreciated all the other comments. It gives us a lot to think about as we're trying to collaborate on coming up with a plan. So I just wanted to mention that on behalf of Randall's Island.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I was looking at Simone's comment, maybe local businesses could give these, give $50 gift cards. I think a lot of our local businesses are doing the best they can. So maybe instead of something that's, something for everyone, I remember at one of the community events recently, there was like a giveaway for a bike for a child. And it was sort of a raffle, but like that way, maybe there's something that's a little bit bigger, but maybe only a couple people get it. And it's more of a fun, maybe it's a competition, I don't know, like, or so another raffle or, however it works out, but that could be an idea. And Simone, I liked your suggestion about a street tree, that, maybe it could be something that, we work with Parks and Trees New York or, any other tree partners that could give us, a handful of trees and we get to pick, someone who wins a raffle gets to pick where the tree gets implemented from a specific locations that we know are viable or something like that. So there's plenty of options here. Lots of great thoughts. So thank you so much, Donna.
Can I just ask one other question?
Yeah.
How many people attended last year around?
I don't know off the top of my head. I have to say maybe it was like 100 people.
125.
125. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at the full point.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Cynthia?
Hi, yes, everyone. I agree with about having the children present. As I stated earlier, I'm the community ambassador for the East Harlem Community Partnership, and maybe instead of picking one school, pick one or two CBOs that have a range of ages from children. That way you get a more different response of the children all over East Harlem. Like we work with sometimes, I recently made partnership now with the Friends of L'Esplanade. I brought it to the attention of my director just by going on the tour, and now we're trying to work something out for our children so they can be more exposed to the waterfront as well. That might be an option. And sometimes just a raffle works. Like we had our Black History celebration and we were to the max just by us as community ambassadors, letting everybody know how exciting it is. You have a voice, use it, you have an opinion, because it's going to be our children that are going to be affected in the future. And I think their voices should be heard.
Great. Thank you, Cynthia. It sounds like, David, this is maybe turning into a joint Earth Day celebration and conference and a youth symposium. You're on mute, David. You're on mute. You got it. I believe in you.
See, this is when I should be muted. No, again, I think we should work on both or a collaboration of this definitely, because I think they're overlap, but youth and then how we involve seniors as well. I was even thinking we should go up to Dimitri's and say, give us a bunch of little plants we can give out to people, the little seedlings, it's like a little giveaway gift as well, and maybe that's what we ask from our partners is not necessarily monetary things. I think we ask the elected officials for monetary, but maybe we ask, what goods can you give? Can you give a bag of food or fresh vegetables or the dollars for the farmers market that comes up on the Thursdays on 104th? So just other thoughts, right? I mean, that's sometimes it's incentives, like Russell said, and then you wrap up things off as well, and you keep the raffles to the end. but you got to get the one big hook.
Yep. No, great idea. And I wonder, I think we would all be open to, sharing this initiative with the Youth and Education Committee if that was something, I don't want to put anything additional on
Yeah,
your.
no. I
there.
mean, I'm always sparking thoughts, right? And sometimes we got to think bigger because as it weans down and what actually is visible. I as part of Children's Aid, we're a Boys and Girls Club. We also have a group called Keystone that we're collaborating with one of our other centers on 114th. We're 15 kids, where Asher is one of the leads as the advisor, have to come up with some projects to work on. And so, I'm also thinking maybe this is how we, with Claudia, we tap into the community kids that attend, some of the schools, but our community kids about some of these social justice issues around this, aside from the school pieces, because the school pieces have real issues that we've dealt with, particularly in parks and open space. And the committee that's presenting next in March for Youth and Education could have equally been here in parks and open space. And that's why we are doing these things collaboratively. And, I think with the superintendent, she has a vision too. But I think, again, maybe this is also a part of what the symposium would be, is our parks and open space areas as well, and let's see what we can get done between both committees and these different projects. But, anybody that's willing to work, I'm always saying, let's get together. We Zoom now and can work on these things in smaller groups. So whatever we need to do, we'll work.
Great. Well, I'm going to join your committee meeting for that
Yeah.
presentation, but I'd be happy to make a quick announcement on this and to see just who might be interested in contributing, and we can take it
Please.
offline.
Yep.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. That was incredibly helpful. I feel like I've been, sitting in like this pool of thinking this is such a huge event and it's going to be so much work. And now I feel completely reinvigorated. So I think based on everything that we did last year, everything that we've talked about today is completely achievable. And I would love to set up sort of an ongoing call just with, a few people who might be interested in moving this forward, and we can start pushing the wheels. So I heard Connie and Debbie and Michelle. I think there was a few other people who had voiced interest in it a couple months ago. So if you'd like to be involved, please just shoot me an email. And if you're a member of the public or community-based organization that would like to be involved, please also shoot me an email, and I promise I will answer it more quickly than right now. But I will put my email in the chat, and we will move on from there. Michelle, one final question, comment?
I do have a suggestion. I can't put my face else I will get knocked off of my
No worries.
phone right now. I am excited to find out if there would be a way to have like a few buses that are specific for taking people from East Harlem to Randall's Island, and just like have like four, like say these are 4 different times, kind of like that trolley that went around East Harlem to the small businesses and saying, hey, this is something exciting, and to promote going to East Harlem on Earth Day from specific parts of East Harlem, and just have it where, oh, we're going to be going to this event and it's going to be fantastic. I mean, just to really just pump it up a notch, definitely with children in mind.
Great. You'll have to convince me on that one, because that sounds like a lot of work, but let's keep talking about it.
No, it won't be a lot of work. That's the whole point about it.
All right. Thanks, Michelle. David, final thoughts?
What was I going to say? Jesus, the bio
I do
bus.
this all the time.
We should have the bio bus come. That's a free thing. They come with this great bus. They have a few of them, and it's just nature in a bus.
Excellent.
I love it.
Great. It's free.
All right. Noting. Bio bus. All right. I couldn't take all these notes in the meeting minutes, but I took them in my notebook. So I'll formalize it, get it sent out, and I'll reach out to those of you who reach out to me, hoping to get involved, and we'll keep this moving forward. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the great comments and assistance. We're going to do a great job this year, and really looking forward to it. Is there any other new business? Michelle.
I just want to say that everyone should start advertising it as fast as possible.
Yes, I will
That's
send this out
important.
before the weekend so that everyone can circulate it to their people. Thanks, Michelle. All right, we will move on. I believe that is the end of our agenda. If there is no further business, we can take a roll call.
1 second. Okay, committee members, calling you by your last name. Diane Collier,
Here.
Jessica Elliott,
Present.
David Giordano.
Oh, you're on mute, David.
I'm here. No, I can't get
I know, yeah,
both
doing
away.
the thing. Alonzo Johnson is absent. Jewel Jones.
Present.
Thank you. Connie Lee.
Present.
Thank you. Malik McCullough. Might be having trouble with his mute button too. Malik, I'll take that as present.
Like changing a diaper.
Yeah. All right, Malik, it's okay. Debbie Quinones.
Present.
Asher is excused. Russell Schuler.
Present.
Thank you. Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Present. Asher was here, I thought, just a little while ago.
They had to leave for a choir concert.
Okay. And Jordan Wright is absent. That's it, Chair.
All right. Thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned at 8:24. See ya in the next one. Bye.
Take care. Good night, everyone.